Hello and welcome back to the Minisode of Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. This is Penny Sansevieri with Amy Cornell. And today, this is a particularly hot button topic for me, problems and challenges with long pre-orders. And so many of the issues is that authors that we talk to who want to have long pre-orders, and by long pre-orders, I'm talking months and months, sometimes even a year, is that it's problematic because there's just too much lead time. And most of the time, the authors don't have the fan base to carry that kind of long-term pre-order. It's also really bad for your Amazon ranking when you throw a book up there and for pre-order and nothing happens. So and I know, Amy, you have some thoughts on this too. There are just a lot of challenges with really long pre-orders.
Yeah, books. Absolutely. And when authors come to us, even it's a big factor that we consider when an author comes to us. It's like, oh, my book's already on pre-order, but I'm not releasing it till next year. And we're like, it's like, this is where I wish we had like a real sound department. And it wasn't like jokingly one of my dogs. We'd insert the cricket noise,
Right.
But truly, one of the biggest problems in it factors into everything you already mentioned, Penny, is just momentum. How much can you really do to keep the momentum going? Because as you said, there's really no reason to put it on Amazon if you're not going to put in the work to send traffic there. Because it affects your relevancy score. Amazon sees it as kind of a dud. Sorry, like ripping that Band-Aid off, but
yeah.
But truly, so like how much marketing can you really do for a super long period of time?
Yeah.
And how much can you budget? Because while there's a lot you can do for free to get the word out, like there's still some investment there. Money comes out of marketing at some point, even if it's in small doses, but spread that out over 6-8 months and it gets to be a lot,
Well, and the other piece of it too is that most readers, unless you are, I don't know, J.K. Rowling, don't pre-order books, right? So with long pre-orders, so if I have to wait a year for a book on, I don't know, social media or business building or something, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to find something else. So if you're marketing your book now in the hopes of getting lots and lots and lots of pre-orders in the next 6 months or 8 months or a year, you're probably or very likely sending traffic to somebody else's book because they want that knowledge now, or they want to be entertained now, or whatever it is. People do not wait. I mean, Amy, I remember you pre-ordered J.K. Rowling's book and it was months out, but
yeah, I just pre-ordered another one, but yeah, truly, but it's because I'm already a brand fanatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you've developed a brand and you have a solid following, then you could probably get away with that. I know a few other authors that I follow that get away with it because they've secured their core fan base that shows up and essentially makes each book a bestseller because they just have that core group that is there for them all the time. But it takes a long time to get there and a lot of work,
Yeah.
That's not just something that automatically applies when you release a book. So unless you have a really established platform, if it's your first book, you really want to catch people when they're excited about it. Because, we all get busy. I do it all the time where it's like, oh, I should do that. Well, I can do it later because I have to get to something else right now. And then it may be days, weeks, or months before I remembered what I was going to do, or buy. So, and that happens to all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And the issue is that if you're, as Amy alluded to about the Amazon relevancy score, we are really looking at, your first 30 days on Amazon. Obviously, we've done a podcast on that. But the days preceding that, so doing a 2-week or 30-day pre-order is really sufficient, even if you have, even if it's not your first book, unless you have a really deep fan base. And even then, we've worked with some best-selling authors that will do at maximum a 2-month pre-order, right? Once that book sinks down the Amazon ranking, it's really hard to resurrect it. So the reason for the show is not just to burst, like I feel like sometimes we just burst bubbles all over the place, but really it's to try to guide you to having a book launch that is successful. And part of that success is going to be a shorter pre-order. We talk a lot about book brand marketing versus book marketing. In the time that you have ahead of your book launch, you could be doing a lot of brand marketing and, starting to build some interest for getting to know people and, that kind of thing, which I think we have a separate show on brand marketing specifically. But long pre-orders are really not for, I could probably count on one hand how many authors that I think long pre-orders would really work for. And most of them are, as Amy pointed out, most of them are really household names.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. Again, not to kill your buzz about your long pre-order, but it definitely is worth mentioning that keep it short, keep it focused, 2 weeks to a month at most. I only usually do a month of a pre-order of my book. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Minisode. And as ever, we love reviews wherever you listen to podcasts. Keep an eye out for our Patreon page, which we will probably have in the show notes very soon. This is Penny Sansbury and Amy Cornell. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.